there are a few highlights of the Dalai Lama's presentation. What strikes me the most is that he is thinking outside the box. As a religious leader, when he said, religion is not important, wow, what a statement. Do you think a Pope would say that? Okay, here is someone who is breaking outside the silo of religion. As a religious leader, he is courageous enough to do that. That your religion is not important, my religion is important. Right? And having said that, so that is a breakthrough. That is thinking outside the box. That is breaking down silos. That is doing away with all barriers. And it takes a great person with great courage, especially someone in his position, to make such a statement. I don't know how many, quote, fellow Buddhists he would have annoyed, I think so. Right? So, in fact, that is the spirit of the AWE. We are here to break down silos. We are here to pursue the truth. Doesn't matter in what shape or form. So that's number one. Number two, when he said, take up your thoughts, and then your thoughts will take up the word becomes your action, action becomes... So the first thing is thought. He said, take up your thought. And that's what the AWE curriculum is designed to do. In the first year, the first semester, we are taking care of our thought process, our thinking mode. And I'd like to then go on to recap some of his points, which I feel are important. Well, having done away with the label of religion, what is he preaching then? In other words, what is his value system? What does he see as a value system? Right? And as Mr. Newman said, they are common sense. They are compassion, sensibility, more detached, more loving, more humanitarian. And at AWE, we agree with all this value system. But we beg to differ on detachment. Detachment is more of an original teaching of the Buddha, which we call the Hinayana tradition. In the Mahayana tradition, after a lot of revolution and evolution over the thousands of years, we encourage engagement. We are engaged in life. We engage ourselves, we engage our fellow men, and we engage the world. Except for this detachment thing, we agree with all the value system of His Holiness, except in the Mahayana tradition, we are engaged. That is why we are here today. We engage. So this is his value system. Now, let us look at His Holiness' religious viewpoint. The first point I've already elaborated. He's breaking out of the religious silo. And then Mary Beth has already discussed with us the term destiny. He said, being Catholic is not a matter of destiny, it's a matter of options, right? So Mary Beth, as a Buddhist, says, no, it's choice, it's not destiny. We can change our destiny. And basically, that's what His Holiness is saying again. Right? So this is why definition, context, words are so important. In fact, in the Zen Buddhism tradition in China, the sixth patriarch says, let us not establish our teaching based on words, because words can be misleading. Alright? Words is necessary for communication, but words we have to use it with caution, have a lot of qualification to tell what it means. So here, that's what that means. But the most important thing about Dalai Lama's religious view is that there's no religion higher than the truth. So what is the truth? That is what we are here to explore together. Because every religion, every sect proclaims they have the truth. Their holy book is the only book with the truth, and so on. Right? So there's no religion higher than the truth. Again, that word truth needs a lot of qualifications and exploring and definition. Okay, then let us look at the Dalai Lama's scientific viewpoint. In his presentation, he mentioned a couple of things. The universe, echo of our action and our thoughts. He's thinking big. He's thinking the whole universe. His relationship between the physical human being and the universe. Between the physics and the metaphysics. So there is a lot of scientific thought when he used these statements. His Holiness, as a Buddhist religious leader, is now also gearing up using scientific methods, scientific mode of thinking to preach his doctrine. Such as the law of action and reaction is equal and opposite. Right? It's a physical law. But then he's applying it to human relations as well, which makes sense, but it's based on science. And that is exactly what our AWE vision is all about. That is why we emphasize so much on using science to explain the principles behind it, and using Western philosophy, which is also a very well established system of logic thinking and deduction in order to expound these ancient wisdom. And most important of all, when he talked about scientific viewpoint, when he made the statement, there is no religion higher than the truth. What is the scientist's occupation? Every scientist or every respectable or self-respecting scientist, their occupation is in search of the truth. Doesn't matter whether you're a biologist, medical researcher, whether you're a astrophysicist or mathematician, whatever. You are in search of the truth. You're trying to find the truth. You observe phenomenon, formulate hypothesis, test your hypothesis, modify it, gain more knowledge, test it again until you establish a theory, and then you hold true that theory for the time being as the state of art of the truth. Now that truth may change with time, and therefore truth evolves with time. Just like when you used to think all the heavens revolve around the earth, then now comes the scientist Galileo who says, no, the earth revolves around the sun. And the religious leader at the time say, oh, that is blasphemy. So please drink this strychnine. Because he was put to death for stating the truth. So there is no religion higher than the truth. Then when the Dalai Lama says this, he is labeling all scientists as truth seekers, and therefore, by definition, religious people. And religious people are truth seekers, and therefore, by definition, scientists. So, again, this is why it's important we read into the lines, read into the words. Dalai Lama's heart is wide open, broken out of the thinking boxes, broken out of the religious silo, do away with the labels, and is actually heading towards uniting science and religion together, using science as the backbone, as the proof to push the religion forward, and using religion as inspiration and new ideas for science, research and development. And And that's the way it should be. And that's the way I see it as the future. And that's the way the AWE vision and mission is frameworked upon. Any questions so far? So please feel free to raise your hand at the moment.
Yes, I have a team of members. I work with a team of the scientific researchers to search on the value of the meditation and other aspects too. So actually, it looks very interesting to see how the science and Buddhism meet.
Yes, in fact, the religious practitioners, they do things pretty much the same, based on the same scientific method as the scientists would do in the lab. Except for the religious practitioners, their own body is the experimentation. And then they test the body, mind, and spirit, and then validate it. And then they formulate the observations and progress into hypothesis, and then repeat the practice and spiritual practice, and then they formulate a theory, and in the process they are seeking out, they are exploring the mystery of life, understanding the meaning of life, and finally living out life's value by redefining it from the experience, and that's all spiritual practices. Thank you, everyone. So, I don't know if you have visited our website. How many of you have not visited our website, the AWE website? Okay, actually most of you. So can we show the first page of our website, please? First you will hear this lovely music composed by lovely Tammy. Thank you. And then you will see this icon. Can we go a little higher, please? Our address is simply www.awe-edu.com, and you'll come here. If we go down to our icon here with the three pictures, here I'm very bold to put an equal sign here. Buddhism equals metaphysics equals thinker. Now, so today basically the Dalai Lama, a Buddhist leader, is thinking like a scientist, talking like a scientist. And the scientists are truth seekers, no different from the religious truth seekers. So that equation sign established. Now in a few lessons, when we get to the definition of metaphysics, we will see that actually that equation, this equal sign is valid. Okay. But if you look at this, Buddhism equals metaphysics equals thinker. This is already very groundbreaking. I don't think anyone before us has put an equal sign there in these three very, very vast, apparently different human endeavors. So this is what we require ourselves to do. We have to open our heart so wide that we embrace and encompass all these human endeavors together. And this is what we're doing here at the Academy of Wisdom and Enlightenment. This is what it's all about. Opening up our heart and mind. Alright? Before we leave this page, let's go to the next tab, Vision and Mission. So this is the second page here, Vision and Mission, right? My presentation will just be copied straight out from here. So if you visit our website, everything is there. For Vision and Mission, our vision is to search for the truth, which is identical to the mission of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. That makes it a legitimate Buddhist organization. Develop wisdom and to ignite the compassion. Wisdom and compassion are fundamental words in Buddhism. Of all human beings through enlightenment, which is the ultimate goal of all beings. So the vision is that of the Buddhist vision, or actually, by definition now, is the vision of humanity. So our mission is to design curriculum that expedite this enlightenment process and realize spirituality. Now there are so many schools, so many religions, so many scientific books, so many theological books, so many spiritual books. There's tons in the library. It's overwhelming. Where do we start? Where do we begin? What we have done is we sat down and actually taken out encapsulate all the crystallized, most important nucleus, the very essence of these schools of thoughts, and put them into a step-by-step curriculum, so that if you follow this curriculum step by step, you will not be like a huge puzzle, don't know where to begin. If you follow it step by step, it was actually easy. So far, this afternoon, everything has been easy, right? Step by step. We've already learned the definition of Buddhism in the New Age. We've already opened our heart to a lot of new ideas. It is important, therefore, that we don't skip class. We come to every class because every next step is built upon the step, like you have to take grade 1 before grade 2, before grade 3, before grade 4, and grade 5, and so on. An analogy is, a lot of time, let's say a grade 2 student asks a question which you will learn in grade 5. Or a primary school student asks a question that belongs to secondary school. Right? It would be foolish for the teacher to answer because the student is not ready for the answer. We have to move one grade at a time. And this is the problem with soul searchers or truth seekers these days. They ask the big question. Answers are everywhere. It's in the library. But they are not ready for the answer. So they say, no, that's not the answer I want to hear. Right? Because before we ask the question, we have to know what prerequisites have we already gathered before we ask those questions. And this is what our curriculum is all about. We line it up step by step so that we make this path very easy. Alright? So truth, spirituality, these are all things. Is there a God? Does God exist? Are there goals? And so on and so on. All these, we will confront these important questions. We'll hit them head on. But before we go there, before we can write a good composition, we have to learn sentence structure. Before we learn sentence structure, we need to know our vocabulary. Before our vocabulary, then we have to know some grammar before. And then before we can write words, we have to know our ABC and so on. We start with the ABC. We don't start with, writing a good poetry, right? So this step by step is very important. And where's the step by step? It's all outlined on the website of our curriculum. So why do we have to? Because there exist so many schools, there are actually university curriculum on Buddhism and so on. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why does AW exist? Well, because humanity is in conflict with itself. I don't need to explain that. You just have to watch the news every day. And with nature, the environmental degradation, at a stage unsalvageable by any of these alone. All right. We have so many religious leaders. The existing state of human affairs is that we already have many religious institutions. We have tons of philosophies. Science is robust. Morality or politics, we have systems of government and so on. None of these alone can address the problem of humanity in conflict with itself and nature. Why? Because all these are fragments of the whole humanity. When humanity is in conflict, how do you expect a fragment of it to solve the problem? Right? We blame our government, politics. or we say our religious leaders could do more, or we think science should have come up with a solution. No. These are 5 of the fragments of humanity. And these fragments have to come back together to form the whole humanity. That is why AWE is in existence, because we want to reunite all this fragmentation. Now, what is more urgent is the present course of our civilization is heading towards imminent destruction of the human race and Mother Nature. You may say, oh, just another doomsday guy talking. Well, in our curriculum, later on, when we talk about global warming reality and so on, we will delve deep into the scientific proof that this statement is true. So we'll just leave it like this for now. You can take it at face value. And again, that's the reason for our existence. So, what is the solution? The solution is a collective consciousness. A collective consciousness of enlightenment, not a collective consciousness of what we have now, which is insensible economic development. That is our collective consciousness right now on this planet. Right? So we have to change that collective consciousness into a collective consciousness of enlightenment. And this has to happen in a timely manner in order to avert such a imminent disaster. Right? So don't take me as a doomsday prophet for now, because in our curriculum we will actually go in and scientifically justify, validate these statements. That is why AWE is in existence in a nutshell. Any questions so far about why AWE is happening? Now, I want to go in a little bit about fragmentation of higher learning. The human has always wanted to know everything. We ask the big questions. We look at all the various phenomena in this whole universe, and we try to understand it. So, what do? We establish an institution of higher learning in order to understand the universe, and we call this institution University. This is a place where we're supposed to understand all phenomenology, everything that has to do with human living and the non-living. All right. But in doing so, as university evolved, what happened is there's too many knowledge. So in order to perceive this knowledge, we need certain faculty, like, for example, the human wants to perceive realities outside this human body. We have a faculty of sight, faculty of hearing, faculty of smell, faculty of taste, faculty of touch. And in the same way, the university also has many faculties. Faculty of science, faculty of art, faculty of music, faculty of all these things. These are all humanities. Now, as we specialize in certain faculties, for example, I like to listen to music all the time, and I close my eyes, and then maybe after 10 years of closing my eyes, I become blind, and my hearing becomes very acute. And the same thing is happening with university faculties. Faculty of science becomes highly specialized in science and forgot about the arts of philosophy and humanity and so on. Right? So this is when the fragmentation begins. Now within the faculty, eventually, they even depart from the original mission of trying to understand the universe through the faculty. So as they depart, they become departments inside the faculties. So that is why they're called departments. But the original university administrators, they understand this. That is why they use these words. This is why words are so important when taken into context. Right? So then, At the department level, they're far from it. So, say, the Faculty of Science, right? Within that, maybe Department of Chemistry, Department of Biology, Department of Physics, and eventually the physicists don't talk to the biologists, and the biologists don't talk to the chemists, and then the faculty is just totally lost that original intent of the university. This is where fragmentation begins. And then even within, say, the Department of Chemistry, they may have a highly specialized center of chemical pollutants, for example, center for certain medical research. Center, what does center mean? I am self-centered. Alright. So you dwindle from the big thinking mode to the smaller thinking box. We think from the big thinking mode. Under our present educational system, we are trained to think smaller, going deeper and deeper into the smaller thinking box, smaller silo. Now, how can we expand such an educational system to our Savior? That is why AWE exists. We are going to reverse this trend. In fact, if you think about all this university is about humanity. If you look at the faculty of humanity these days, they are the people with the least prestige, the least important on the whole campus. The most important ones are your faculty of medicine or law or whatever, right? And the center of excellence or something, right? If our children could say, oh, I'm going to take humanities major, well, the parents will say, what are you going to do when you graduate? It is totally unemployable. That is the product of fragmentation of our learning system. And that is why AWE exists. We are a virtual academy, and we are open to the whole world, that any students can attend class via the internet or on the website. So, this is what fragmentation is about, and this is why AWE is in existence. So how is AWE going to do this, achieve this? Well, these 5 aspects of humanity, religion, philosophy, science, morality, and politics, must amalgamate into a holistic educational system, that is why we have a coherent 4-year curriculum, a holistic educational system, and must be comprehensible to all age and all cultures, and that's the difficult part. Right? It's no good if you have an ivory tower kind of a curriculum. It has to be practical, it has to be understandable and appreciated by all culture, all ages. Because after all, truth is simple. People make it complicated with words. Now, remember the Dalai Lama says, take care of your thoughts. Right? So here, all human action, the thought becomes words and word becomes action and action becomes habit and so on and so forth. That's what His Holiness said in his presentation. Well, we know all human actions are preceded by thinking. So our thinking mode determines our values. And then our values determine our behavior. It's very simple, right? We start thinking of an idea, then we act out our idea, and that reinforces certain behavior and becomes habit and pattern and becomes our character. So the AWE curriculum is designed to instill an enlightened thinking mode. So we go right into the origin, the root of the problem, how our thinking arises. So the AWE curriculum is so designed that we instill an enlightened thinking mode right from the start, from the beginning, from the origin, which will lead to a life of meaning, purpose, happiness, and prosperity. So rather than feeding ourselves with a lot of do this thing, do that thing. We say, how do we think to begin with? What is that thinking process to lead us to do this and not do that? Right? So it's a thinking part. And that, the thinking part is wisdom. So that is how we're going to do it. Your curiosity about religion, philosophy, science, art, politics will be integrated in a holistic curriculum of humanities. So who should be taking this course? In the present age of information, the internet is able to provide knowledge, fast and vast, but wisdom, on the other hand, is from even more remote and inaccessible. So we are in an age of information overload. But where is the wisdom of utilize all this information? Our curriculum enables us to discover and develop an enlightened thinking mode with which you and your loved ones will benefit from living a life filled with compassion, love, harmony, peace, and prosperity. So these are results of our action, and that result from the thinking mode. Without wisdom, one's career and life cannot prosper to its full potential. So that is so important. That is why wisdom is so important, and we are here to learn wisdom. We are not here to learn information, because the information is already available on the internet. So we're not talking about which sutra have you read, which great teacher have you listened to. Yeah, that's important too. But then pull out the essence and recognize in what grade does this belong? Which piece of the puzzle is he addressing? Right? And the AW curriculum already laid out the whole path, the whole puzzle. Right? So we can fit it, we can organize our thought process, all this information organized neatly and wisely. For those who have studied Buddhism for a long time especially, AW's curriculum inspires and enables us to fully comprehend and practice Buddhism's teaching, the way to enlightenment. So it's for the uninitiated and also for someone who has been journeying this for a long time. So basically our E1 curriculum is to ignite us. We call it the initial drive stage. It gives us the motivation. It motivates us towards enlightenment, towards gaining that wisdom. And the second year is progress. We work hard to consolidate that wisdom, to let it flourish and develop more. And the third year, we call it the wholesome stage. That is when we actually feel the joy, the product, the fruition of our progress. And the final year, we go into an advanced curriculum. There's a lot of information here. And for today's purpose, all we do is just review the curriculum of the first year, the initial drive. All right? So rest assured, all the questions you have in mind is somewhere in the second, third, or final year of our curriculum. But we will answer the questions when we get there. Right? So now let's just focus on our first year curriculum. So before I end, are there any questions so far? Is it too overwhelming or too much information overload or feeding you like a McDonald's? David is becoming fast. Any comment? Please.
No comment.
All right. That was easy.
It's a lot to take on.
Yes.
A lot to take on. A little piece of time, it's like eating an elephant. A little piece of time.
Right. It is. So we're going to make it simple. But then it's also crucial that we try not to miss class. Right? Because you miss a piece, it sounds simple, it's actually not. Right? So once you miss that one little important step, you go grade 1, grade 2, and then skip to grade 4, you wonder, why is there always something not connecting? Well, because you skip a grade. Same thing, you skip a class, there's a lot in the class. In every class, there's actually a lot of information. as the first introductory class, we're already trying to simplify to as little as possible and just leave you to think about it and look at it on your own time on our website. Okay? Now here's the scary part. Expectations. Alright? We need to manage our expectations. Now, this is serious business. When we talk about responsible for our own spirituality, the well-being of our soul, this is serious business. So, we do it like in the Western educational system. We just follow what is the norm, alright? Which means we want our classmates to actually gain something out of this and to measure that systematically and have no person left behind. We have checks and balance and make sure everybody is actually on the same page, so to speak. So we encourage that attendance should be about 90%. There will be 36 sessions in this year. If you are absent twice, someone will be taking attendance. Our class monitor will give you a friendly reminder. On the third time of absence, you might get an official warning, class monitor. If you're absent 4 times, you'll have a final warning. Now, of course, if there are family emergency, sickness, and so on, we will understand, but we will highly encourage you to repeat next year. Why? Because once you skip a step, as you listen to further on, our preconceived ideas, the ego, will try to rebel and resist the new information, and it will be counterproductive. So when it's a curriculum, you learn step by step. When we engage you, you got all your answers, you're grade 3, you pass your exam, grade 4, you progress, there's no problem. But when a grade 2 student asks a grade 5 teacher a grade 5 question, or suddenly it's in grade 5, and given the grade 5 answer, the grade 2 student doesn't like that answer. It will rebel against that answer. They will say, no, I have a different opinion. It's not a matter of opinion. It's a matter of graduation. Okay? We do that formally with all the curriculum, all the silly things we learn in life, even a cooking class, we have to pass, bake a pie, and let your chef taste it, okay, good pie or fail. When it comes to our spirit, we are way too lenient to ourselves. We're just not disciplining ourselves enough. So that is why we have to clarify our expectations. And then there will be 2 midterm and 1 final exam. There will be simple stuff like the survey you took today. The passing grade is 50%. An exam question may be, what do you think is most important to take care of, to address? Our thoughts, our words, our action, our habit. There will be stuff like that, simple stuff like that. And you say, yeah, take care of the thoughts first, and yeah, pass. Nothing too intimidating. It will be basic elementary stuff. So each of this is 20% of the course weight. 3 tests, so that's 60% here. And the book report is 15%. And volunteer work, you can be volunteering anywhere, either with us or any other organization out there. Right? And they'll give you right away a grade point of 25%. Okay? That is very important. That is what we mean by engaged. We're only asking 2 hours a week. All right? We watch TV 2 hours a week more than anyway. All right? So we might as well be doing something a little bit more contributory to our fellow humans. Okay, so that should add up to 100%, 60 and 40, right? Okay? Any questions? Feel like dropping out right now?
I'd like to point out is when you hear the word exams, I mean, most of us have already gone through that stage of saying, why do you have to write exams? Okay? Now, don't be intimidated, okay? It's not that scary. The questions are really very foolishly asked. They're all basic common sense. You can almost, answer it if you have the right approach. So don't be scared, okay? I mean, really, it's just a fun thing. It's like reading on legs, But seriously, Dr. Low is not trying to gauge you, but you're actually gauging yourself. It's for your sake. Okay?
Thank you for that comforting, comment. We'll do the flyer first and then the timetable. All right. You should have all received this flyer in your email. Basically, I'd like to just recap what this flyer is all about. We've explained already why we put an equal sign between those two human endeavors. And then I talk about the place and time of the class. And we'll go down a little bit. So who's organizing it? It's our temple and the AWE together. Katika, in her welcoming statement, she already mentioned that this course material is censored by the Sri Lankan Consul General. Okay, Consul General is of course the highest official in a foreign country. Now, if we look around the world today, Buddhism is actually a minority religion. There's no more than 10% of this population on earth are Buddhists. And out of that 10%, living in all parts of the world, there are very few Buddhist countries. There's a lot of Muslim countries or Christian countries, when we say Anglo-Canada, and God keep our land, right? So there's monotheistic countries. So there are very few Buddhist countries, and when you look at the Buddhist countries, the biggest Buddhist country is probably Sri Lanka today. Of course, there's Thailand, Burma, and so on. They're smaller countries. We are most fortunate to have this course material sanctioned and supported by the Sri Lanka Consul General, and also approved and supported by the Sri Lanka officiated Chief Monk of Canada. And also the Sri Lanka officiated Chief Monk of UK and Europe. He is supporting this course so much that he would personally deliver a seminar series of 3 courses on Buddhism and science in June, is it? July. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is the AWE curriculum has been a legitimate curriculum sanctioned by the largest Buddhist country and by the officials, both political and religious officials. And so you've come to the right place if you want to learn Buddhism. The way we're doing it is we're using modern language. I've already explained all this today. Now let's go to our timetable, please. Today we've done our pre-class survey. We've participated in that. Classmates have checked in with the name and comment. We've viewed what religion is best. We've explained the vision and mission of the AWE. And then we're ready for a checkout. We probably do not extend with this because of time. So usually we like to check out, each student just give one phrase or one word of how he feels at this moment of time. Okay. Maybe we should try that. All right, let's start again with just one word or one phrase.
I won't use the word cold. Well, sit over here.
enlightened. Thank you.
I feel very good and I'm warm.
Thank you.
I feel good. I learned something and I'm very happy today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the class. And I'm blessed to be there. And thank you for everything.
Thank you. I feel enlightened, but I don't know whether your class attendance 90% scares me. Because I'm retired and I only go away for a few months. So I'll never go up to grade 2 or 3. It'll be grade 1 or 10. So I don't know what to say except I love it all time. It's great. So I'll have to think about it and I don't want to waste your time. So we'll see. No need to worry about that. Many of our graduates have gone through this. They go on a boat cruise and then bon voyage and a few months and they come back and then I grill them. So don't worry. They're still here.
I have a suggestion. I was like you, Ben, when I first started the class. When I saw that 90% attendance, oh my God, I can't make it. Just as I finished two classes, maybe go on to the third one, and then we already planned a Caribbean cruise for about 3 weeks, which means I would have missed 3 lessons. But I tell you, the optimum thing is, you should plan the trip when the class finishes, and that is also the cheapest time. Like around January. Okay, thank you. And then I have people that will back me. It's like cheaper and nicer. Okay? Well, I'm the one he referred to always go for cruise and holiday. But I tell you, after so many times, when you listen to the lesson, you realize what you have to do even though you go for holiday. That's why I bring my computer and I do the volunteer work while I have time. And that brings up your level. So you can do it even though you go for holiday. You can even spread what you have learned, okay, while you're on the cruise.
Our foot might be on the path, global trotting. Our heart can still be on the path to enlightenment.
That's what we did when we were in Hong Kong and in Switzerland for the past 7 weeks. We had our laptop with us. I don't know what to say. I have been 3.5 years as a Buddhist, and my training has been pretty deep. I can see what you do. I can see what you're doing, and I think it's a very good idea. The training I'm getting is I get truth. I can't hide. This is teaching people who do not know about the goodness of Buddhism and what it can do for you and what you can do for yourself and others. I'm sorry to say for me, I don't think I will be coming back, but I do wish you very well all the benefits from it and other people that will be coming, because your teaching is beginning, and I don't know what your other courses are, but what I'm getting is so internal that, as I say, I don't know what to say without being negative.
We welcome frank, open opinions, so we won't get in a negative connotation at all.
I'm glad I met all of you.
And we recognize that many, as I mentioned, throughout 2,500 years of evolution and revolution, there are so many different traditions, and that is why we use the word tradition. They teach according to the traditional method. This is one of those evolution, revolution methods. All right? So it might shock you as, hey, this doesn't sound or feel or look or appear anywhere like my tradition. And that is fine.
Well, it doesn't bother me about not being my tradition. My tradition is Theravada.
Okay.
I can learn about other points of view from other people that I know who are Buddhist or who are not, because I live in a very multicultural neighborhood.
Right.
And so I'm putting my foot in it, aren't I?
No, you're not. No, we want to hear that, and we need your opinion so that we can address whatever you obviously feel this course may be not be giving you what you're looking for. So it's a matter of expectation. We want to know what your expectation is so we can manage that expectation.
I don't have any expectations.
Okay.
That's what I've learned not to have.
Okay.
And what I deal with, I'm a retired person. I deal with this and attempt to deal with what you're teaching every minute that I'm awake, which is hard. And teaching and volunteering and teaching other people outside the Dharma, even strangers. And I've been told I'm a good teacher. So, because I've had many experiences in my life, I can apply them to that. I'm also an intuitive, I'm a psychic. And I'm able to use that as a counseling tool. And some people don't like that. Some people don't.
We welcome that.
But I think this is a good idea for people who do not know anything about Buddhism, that you're at the beginning. I went into it and I went deep. And I never expected it because I think I've been living as a Buddhist most of my life. Didn't know it. So I thank you for the opportunity.
In that case, we could go into our website, and if we go into the website and curriculum, we'll go to curriculum, second year, progress. Yes. So, in our second year, this is why it's so important that we have to pass our first year. Because the first year completely re-engineer our thinking mode. With that thinking mode, that principle, that knowledge, that open-heartedness, we then venture into what Mary Beth is talking about. Whether it's psychic, whether it's extrasensory perception, whether it's so-called the five powers, power of sight, power of astral projection, power of all this other power. But before we venture into those, what we call exploration of the mystery of life, this is all in our second year curriculum. Okay? But what I would really appreciate, be grateful is Mary-Beth, have some patience with us. It's only 2 hours a week. Stick it out with us. Look at our first year curriculum, whether it is complete, wholesome enough, so that it will give the foundation before people venture into the area you're talking about. Especially when it comes down to here, the Yogacara or esoteric or tantric practice. Esotericism is stuff you're talking about. They are almost secretive teachings. That is actually no secret at all when you look at the whole human endeavor, the whole human journey. Thousands and thousands, 4,000 years ago in India, yoga is very popular. In fact, all this meditation, all these 5 powers, they are essential prerequisite of all spiritual seekers. That was way before Buddhism. That's during the Brahmanism age. So, remember, what you think is deep into is also part of our curriculum. I encourage you to do that.
I became a psychic at 30, not knowing what was going on, with no background at all in any particular religion.
Sure. I don't want to go too deep into this first year general class, but I can say there's 2 types of psychic. One is internal independent. It comes from your pure Buddha nature. The other is a relationship with that external entity. So you're interdependent on that.
I've had two of them.
Okay. So, these are the knowledge we will be teaching to the class, but only after people pass the first year. Otherwise, they go into very lost territories.
Actually, until you experience it, it's very difficult to talk about it.
Don't worry. A lot of our classmates experience the same thing.
They don't know it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have to go over.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we do our transfer of merit to close the class in the traditional manner. This transfer of merit is to what we've learned. We've opened our heart now to the whole world. So we are going to use this positive energy force that we have generated during class today, and we're going to dedicate this energy. If we put our palms together, and we can recite together, okay? By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes result in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine through all ranks. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You have honored us with your presence. Without you, there is no class. Thank you.